Is the man you love a narcissist, or is he just avoidant? A lot of women are asking themselves this very important question after the recent extreme spike in narcissistic content all across social media. I know you've seen it. And as the attachment specialist, I have seen a tremendous number of unqualified content creators who are spreading dangerous information and outright lies that are destroying relationships, even with good partners, because of pathologizing, labeling, and unnecessary division. Watch this video today to avoid making the wrong decision and having someone lead you down the wrong path. I'm Adam Lane Smith, the attachment specialist. Now, I have a master's degree in psychology. I was a licensed marriage and family therapist for many years with a dual specialty, one in attachment theory and the other in extreme severe trauma. I'm here today to shine a light on this dark corner of the internet and help you discern once and for all if your partner is really as narcissistic as TikTok or Instagram might lead you to believe, and if you need to run away, or if your relationship is 100% fixable. I also have a special resource at the end of this video that will help you build a loving, fulfilling relationship with your partner if they're not a true narcissist, so you can transform those frustrating behaviors into true fulfillment for both of you. Stay tuned to the end of this show. You're going to have a special resource and a special sale price. Let's talk about the true difference right now, though, between narcissism and avoidance. Now, why is it that narcissism and avoidant attachment style are being so confused by the uneducated creators out there who are starting to talk about attachment theory in the last year or so after they've seen me talking about it? Well, the truth is that both issues might seem self-centered or emotionally distant, and in fact, they spring from the same root. They have some overlapping features which they exhibit, like focusing on protecting the self, sometimes focusing on thinking that that person is the only person capable of logic. Sometimes both can be very, very self-centered and push other people away during conflict to solve it alone. Sometimes both of them are very protective of the self and they will prioritize their own fulfillment over other people's in conflicts. Sometimes both of them can be very dismissive of other people during conflict and push people back. And yes, sometimes both of them can use manipulation tactics to push other people away or to try to get what they want. So to be clear, both do sometimes bring hurt to other people, and it happens. I'm not here to say that avoidant attachment style is perfectly okay and everybody's lovely, but there's a vast, gigantic difference between narcissism and avoidant attachment style. So what is that exact difference? Well, let's get some raw numbers in here. The research shows that narcissistic personality disorder affects about 0.5% of the population. Less than half a percentage of the population has actual narcissistic personality disorder. Now, I'm telling you this as a clinician who used to work in mental health for extreme correctional cases with death penalty inmates and murder cases that made national news. I understand narcissistic personality disorder and its close cousin, antisocial personality disorder. I know these things because I have treated the most extreme examples of them in the world. So when I say that 0.5% is probably a right estimate based on what I've seen, yes, that sounds like the right number to me. Now, the research also says that about 25% of the population has avoidant attachment style, at least 1/4, and it may actually be up to 30 or even 35% based on some new research that's come out in the last 10 years. So this means that if you are thinking about leaving somebody because you think they're a narcissist, you're statistically likely to make a terrible mistake. In fact, the probability of you making a mistake is up to 98%. There's a 2% chance that you're right, that that person has true narcissistic personality disorder. Okay? The differences between narcissistic personality disorder and actual avoidant attachment disorder lies in their core motivations and their perceptions of others. Now, I am currently in the process of updating attachment theory because we used to just have dismissive avoidant, DA, right? Dismissive avoidant does not cover the full spectrum of people who have avoidant attachment style. Here's how I'm opening up this field and changing it. Avoidant attachment goes on a spectrum now. from ethical avoidant down toward manipulative avoidant, accruing more and more selfish, narcissistic, manipulative traits. Manipulative avoidant is at this end of the spectrum, but still stops short of the full classification of a personality disorder, which means their relationships in work and profession and life and romance and friendship are massively affected, and they cannot function in those areas because those protective behaviors will never turn off. They are always in that danger mode. That's avoidant personality disorder off the spectrum over here, which is the less harmful version. They mostly stay away. But antisocial personality disorder and narcissistic personality disorder off the spectrum over here of the extreme examples that will not turn off. That is where the attachment issues have fully overtaken the person's personality and redefined them as a human being. Is it possible to fix? I say yes. Some in the field will say no, but yes. I'll just tell you yes, but it takes a tremendous amount of effort and a tremendous amount of environmental pressure. We're looking at Scrooge from the Christmas Carol. That's what we're looking at for that sort of transformation, a miracle. It can happen, but it's rare. The spectrum that we're dealing with then is avoidant attached spectrum, okay? Ethical, meaning they do not manipulate and hurt or lie to other people. They are trying to stay safe from other people, so they withdraw or hold back. They withhold information, but not maliciously. They're afraid of other people's stress. They think other people act badly during stress, so they try to prevent from stressing people or being around stressed out people. As you slide down the spectrum, usually more and more damage was done to them during childhood, and they've attained more and more of a negative view of humanity. So they more and more begin to justify managing humanity through more manipulative tactics, more dishonest tactics. Other people will do worse to me if they get the chance, so I can do a limited amount to manage them and keep us both safe from their bad behavior. That's the accrual of more narcissistic traits. Now, when we call someone a narcissist, there's narcissistic personality disorder. And then there's people toward this end of the spectrum. But classifying them as a narcissist is wrong. It's completely inaccurate. They have narcissistic traits due to attachment issues, but it has not crossed that realm into full personality disorder. And this is incredibly important because if you are slapping someone with a relatively permanent and pervasive diagnosis of 0.5% of the population, but you're hitting 25% of the population and negating them and unhumaning them and dehumanizing these individuals because you're saying they are absolutely unworthy of anything, put them on an island and nuke the island. Many people are angry this way. If this is what you're doing, you are now dehumanizing 25% minimum of the population, maybe up to 1/3 of the population. Now, I don't know about you, but I am not comfortable dehumanizing anyone, let alone 1/3 of the human population. So I hope we'll all back away from using the narcissistic term over and over and over. And covert narcissist, by the way, is just as bad. Covert narcissist usually means manipulatively avoidant person. Secretly, you're a completely unworthy human being. No. You are manipulatively avoidant. It is not a full personality disorder. But in relationships under stress, you become manipulative and you are avoidant. These are the key differences you need to track. These ethically avoidant people will mostly withdraw, mostly just stay away, mostly omit. When pressed, they will share the truth. They will listen during arguments. They'll probably duck out, but they'll try. They try. The avoidant manipulative people over here, they'll usually start using more tactics as stress goes up. As they get stressed, they do more and more unethical things. Then they're likely to come back and try to give you dopamine to make up for it afterward. They don't usually understand bonding hormones. They only understand dopamine and cortisol. So if cortisol goes up, they step away, they cool down, then they bring you dopamine to try to soothe you, and it's much more of a manipulation tactic. They either try to shut you down when you get stressed and you go up. That's what their manipulation tactics are, is to shut you down, stop the fight, then soothe everybody with dopamine, and then try to make things work. They're not really here to deny you your humanity either. That's not usually what this group does. Off over here into personality disorder territory, yes. But the manipulative avoidant, no. Okay. They're not here to actively, brutally harm you and disregard the dignity of a human life. That's not what these people on this side of the spectrum do. You cross that territory, that's antisocial personality disorder, that's narcissistic personality disorder. It's the people I used to treat in jail cells. Okay. But not on this spectrum. Again, let's be very, very clear. Attention seeking in narcissists, they need to constantly reinforce their self-image with dopamine. They get their dopamine by being impressive. They have gone to a point where they got hurt and hurt and hurt. Now they've elevated themselves above humanity and say, I am better than everybody else, and I need other people to acknowledge it, and it reinforces for me that I am better. And by other people seeing that I'm better, I am safer. I am superior to other people. I belong amongst an elite group. I am smarter than others. I am more ethical than others. I am the most humble human being who has ever lived. This is that group over into narcissism. It soothes them and makes them feel good. They are still binging dopamine, but binging dopamine for them means feeling superior. That's where they feel better in life. That's how they soothe. That's how they calm. That's how they feel pleasure. Empathy and compassion, pretty much gone in that area. Manipulative avoidant people still have empathy and compassion. They turn it off during times of stress, but then it usually clicks back on and they feel some guilt. Narcissistic personality disorder and antisocial personality disorder, they don't usually feel guilt. They feel fear that there's going to be negative repercussions for their actions. Okay? The more and more you're over on this side of the spectrum, the more compassion and ethics that you do feel, the more empathy you have. They resolve conflicts very differently. By trying to reason through it and then backing away, by trying to reason through it and then shutting people down and then soothing them later, or by bulldozing through people without regard for their care and treating them like an object. To be with a narcissistic personality disorder or an antisocial personality disorder means you are treated like a chair. They will move you as they see fit, or sit on you as they see fit, or kick you as they see fit, or throw you out and get a new one as they see fit. They might be sentimentally connected to a chair, but they don't bond with you as a person. People with attachment issues can still bond in some ways and see each other as humans. Avoidant attachment, yes, has a hard time bonding, but that doesn't make them sociopathic. Off over here into personality disorder territory. Okay. Very, very important. I'm going into depth here, guys, because I'm very, very frustrated when I see people label avoidantly attached people as narcissists, because they're not. They are not. And I'm saying that through my very clear years of remembering the horrific cases I worked on with actual narcissism and actual personality disorders. I've seen what that looks like. So to classify your ex as a narcissist because they didn't listen to your feelings often enough, or they didn't understand, or because you guys had a lot of disagreements, to say that person is I won't even mention the various crimes that I worked on with people, but horrific stuff that I will never, ever be able to forget. To classify them that way because you had a bad experience is not only dishonest, but it probably means that you are closer to a personality disorder than they are, because you are dehumanizing them. And if you're dehumanizing a third of the adult population, there's a serious problem here. And it's probably not your ex. One more thing. Because personality disorder people don't view other people usually as people, not really, they may resort to rage, overwhelming manipulation that exploits and harms you. That's the territory they'll go into. While an avoidant will usually shut down at that point and get away. Even the manipulatively avoidant people usually have a line they're not willing to cross. They shut down and move away. Their view of other people, again, people are unstable and stressed. People are hurtful. I can't trust them. People are inherently inferior and malicious, and I can do anything I want because they'll do worse. Okay? Ethically avoidant people are pleasantly surprised when other people try to use logic and reason to speak with them calmly and honestly. Manipulatively avoidant people are suspicious at first, but they can be coaxed into working calmly and logically with you, hesitantly, and you kind of have to be recoaxed each time. Personality disorders can't be reasoned with. They treat it like an attack, If you try to become logic and calm and use logic and reason with them, even to point out their flaws, they treat it like a vicious assault, and they grow more controlling and manipulative and angry and full of rage and destroy you. The biggest key distinguishing factor: avoidant people desire a secure relationship, but they fear intimacy. They don't know how to build that connection. Okay? Personality disorders don't. They've gone beyond wanting that. Maybe a tiny sliver of them somewhere deep inside wants it, but they are so far beyond that, you have to have a massive ego collapse before they can even remember that that's what they've ever wanted. Again, think Scrooge on the Christmas Carol. Massive ego collapse and facing risk of death before they can even reach that point. This is why in my How to Love an Avoidant Man video course, I lay out the steps to offer and demonstrate and show intimacy and love and care. Because for avoidantly attached people, you can build that. For personality disorders, you can't. I would never advise someone try to build a relationship with a personality disordered person. Never. Because it's not going to go well. Not because they're evil people or I'm dehumanizing them. Because we cannot reason with those people who don't see you as a person. You can get away and avoid and minimize contact. That's the goal. Now, the biggest thing I want to hammer home right now in this whole video is that avoidance exists on a long spectrum. Ethical avoidance style on one side, manipulative avoidance style on the other side, narcissism off the spectrum at that end, okay? Confusing those two dehumanizes that third of the human population with avoidant attachment style. It lumps them in with the 0.5% who engage destructively and selfishly against other humans. So if you had ethical avoidant attachment style, if you got treated over and over and over like a hurtful monster who preys on other people, if you got on the internet, okay, and you looked at all the creators online who are just kicking avoidant people, talking about them like they're garbage, blaming them for everything. If you walked online and saw that, would you want to work with anybody who had labeled you? Would you want to work with a partner who came to you and said, "You're being a narcissist"? Or would you want to run away? Okay? Labeling is not going to help. Learning to work together to build authentic love, that can show your avoidant partner that you actually love them. It can encourage them to return that love when they feel safe and secure with you. Now, if you want to learn how to do that, if watching this video has opened your eyes and helped you understand that you're probably not dealing with a narcissist, you're dealing with an injured person in survival mode, in attachment issues, if you want to learn how to fix that and build real lasting love, get your copy of my video course, How to Love an Avoidant Man. Okay. It's linked down in the description below. I based that program on over 10 years of helping avoidant people and their partners to build lasting love. If you use code YouTube25 on that course, you'll get a 25% discount to help protect your relationship and to see your avoidant person for who they really are. I am Adam Lane Smith, the attachment specialist. I've been helping people build relationships for well over 10 years. I've got a master's degree in psychology, extensive experience working with personality disorders, some of the most dangerous human beings on the planet, people that most of you can't even imagine being in a room with. I have been in those rooms with them as they're shackled to the floor so they can't come across the table and try to kill me. And I've worked with them on their relationships and personalities extensively for years. I've been there, you guys. I know this better than any other content creators online who are blasting about how your boyfriend's a narcissist and you need to dump him right now because he didn't buy you flowers on your birthday. Okay? There's truth and you need to know it. If you're worried that your relationship might not work because of the presence of avoidant behavior, that's okay. That's fair. If other creators have scared you into thinking there's no hope, that's wrong and it's on them. But I encourage you to check out one of my most popular videos of all time. It's called How the Anxious and Avoidant Can Fix Each Other. Because anxious and avoidant people actually have very similar needs. And when they work together as a couple, they can really give each other love that nobody else can imagine. So I will see you in that video.